Hello everyone, I hope you're well. In this video I'm going to be documenting my experience with having a nose reconstruction. So the surgery that I'm having is called an external septorhinoplasty. So the external portion of that means that the surgery will be taking an open approach. So they're going to cut this piece of skin here, which is called the columella, make an incision in each nostril and pull back the skin to expose the nose. And the septoplasty portion means that they'll be correcting the deviated septum, which is this piece of cartilage here, so they'll be straightening that. And then rhinoplasty is referring to the nose as a whole, straightening that and improving the cosmetic look of it. So the reason I'm having this surgery is obviously because I have a crooked nose. There was no trauma ever done to it, it just developed that way for some weird reason. Sometimes when I breathe in deeply, I get less airflow through my left nostril because the nostril presses against the deviated septum. Not only will this surgery rectify that issue, but it will also give me a straight nose, which looks better cosmetically in my opinion. I'm seeing one of the best ear, nose and throat surgeons in Australia, Richard Harvey. So Mum and I are traveling down to Sydney now to stay at a hotel tonight for my surgery tomorrow. Made it to Sydney now. We're staying at a really nice hotel on the top floor. We've got a great view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge over there and the Centrepoint Tower over there. And this is the room we're staying in for the next couple of nights. Out for dinner with Mum. Can't go wrong with a good pub feed. Back at the hotel now, and for those of you who don't know, I'm graduating from the Australian Film, Television and Radio School, and I just finished having a screening with the cast from Urban Murray's, which was my graduation film for AFTRS.
That's a wrap!
Go!
And it was such a special moment. We finally got to share the finished film with the cast and they absolutely loved it. It was great to catch up with them again. So by the time you're watching this video, that will have been released and you can go and check it out. I'll leave the Instagram and the link to the finished film in the description box below. So it's the film that I directed. I hope you enjoy it. Good morning. This is not a bad view to wake up to at all. Today is the day of the surgery. I've got to be at St Vincent's Private Hospital at 12 p.m, so I'm about to head over there now. Okay, I'm in the hospital now. I just had a negative rat test. I'm about to go and get prepped for surgery. Apparently it's a 3-hour procedure. So one more look at my nose. And now I'll see you after the surgery. Hello everyone, how are you going? I just got out of surgery and this is the first time I'm actually seeing myself. Wow, well, I better not drop my phone on my nose. The nurses said the surgery went really well and now I'm chilling in this room. It is nighttime currently. Honestly, it doesn't get much better than this. Recovering from a successful surgery with a ton of ice cream. Good morning, it is the next day. I didn't get too much sleep last night because I was really conscious of not knocking my nose. I still had the needle in my arm too. Picked up all my meds in that paper bag there, and now we're out in the big world. Woohoo! Surprisingly, Face ID on my phone still works despite having the cast on my nose and the nose bolster bandage. So today is the first AFTRS screening where they're showing all our graduation films. It only goes from 10 to 12 and it's currently after 12, so we've probably missed it. I'm just gonna rock up and see if we can catch the end of it and say hello to people. Hello! So I just found out from my friends that the screening is still got a third to go, so Urban Murray's has not yet shown, so I'm gonna actually catch the last bit of it. They're just on a break now. Alrighty, we're done having a bit of a break, had some chips and some beers, and now we're going into AFTRS to recommence the screening. Vlogception? Vlogception. We just finished the screening. Woohoo! And we had a wholesome photo. How did it go, fam?
Good. This is not. Hi.
It was so good to see Urban Murray's on the big screen. So good to catch up with everyone. Good times. Had a great time at AFTRS. It was so good to see everyone's projects and to catch up with everyone. Now we're driving back home and I will check in with you tomorrow. It is the next day, and as you can see, the swelling and bruising has caught up on me significantly. I look pretty silly right now. I've just been hanging out, laying in bed, reading books for the day, and staying on top of all my medication. As for the pain, I can definitely feel like my nose has been broken and there's a lot of pressure because I can feel the snot and the blood in my nose. But overall, it's actually not too bad. I had my first sneeze after the surgery yesterday as well, which I was a bit worried about having, but I talked to the nurses beforehand and they said the best thing to do was to sneeze with your mouth open and just let it all out. And it was actually fine, thankfully. So I will check in with you later. It is 1 week post-op and I'm here at the Sydney Ear, Nose, Throat Clinic to check in with my doctor. Out of the doctor's now, he took the 5 stitches out on my columella, this piece of skin here. You can see where that cream is. And he said there was like 50 dissolvable stitches inside my nostrils, which is wild. Unfortunately, I'm still not allowed to train. I have to wait until the 2-week mark to do that, at which point the cast will be taken off and the splints inside my nostrils will be taken out, and then I can resume physical activity. At the moment, all I'm allowed to do is walk, which is super frustrating. It's taking all my willpower to not, but I want a really good result, so I'm gonna hold off and keep doing all of the right things. You can see the swelling and bruising has decreased significantly, which is great. I'm gonna drive home to the Hunter Valley now in this rainy weather, which reminds me to mention I'm also not allowed to get the cast or my nose wet until I have it all taken off. Day 10 post-op. I'm at Newcastle Beach today filming some B-roll for a video I'm making telling the story how I split my head open doing a backflip. And this is the exact spot on this ledge right here. I split my head open. That video will be out by the time you're watching this one, so I'll link it in the description below if you want to check it out. After I split my head open over there, I walked to this lifeguard station here, knocked on the door, and then the ambulance rocked up and took me away from here. Crazy, that was back in 2019. Still got the scar too. So before it starts raining, I want to talk about how I've been recovering. So definitely the first few days are the worst. One day after, surprisingly, I felt all right, and that was the day I went to AFTRS for the screening. But that night, it definitely caught up with me, and the next day I was very swollen and bruised. I wouldn't say the pain is excruciating, but it's like a dull ache that just doesn't go away. It's there all the time. So that combined with the fact that your nose is filled with snot and some blood, and you have to breathe out of your mouth, makes it more difficult to sleep. The first few days, you can take some painkillers and anti-inflammatories. Then you take antibiotics for the first 10 days, one prednisone a day for the first 10 days, and then I've got like a nasal rinse that has some saline solution that you squirt up your nose, and that helps get all the stuff out. And then you put some antibiotic ointment on your nose after that. I'm so looking forward to this Friday when I finally get the splints taken out of my nose, because I can feel like these sharp splints up my nose, which is very uncomfortable. And then I get the cast off as well, so I'm cheering. We've lucked out, someone's left, and we've got to park, finally. I did not want to drive around these streets any longer. She's tight, but thankfully I'm a reverse park god. Look at that, mate. Too good. Sweet. 2 weeks post-op, I had a shocking sleep last night, as you can probably tell by the massive bags under my eyes. And the roads were crawling with cops this morning, which was super annoying. But on a more positive note, we've made it to Sydney now. The sun is shining, and today I finally get the cast taken off my nose and the splints taken out, and I get to see how it's looking for the first time. So let's go. Here we are, back again. All right, we're out. Are you ready for this shit? Because bruh, I don't think you are. Boom! The big reveal. Holy shit. I look like an axolotl. I look like Voldemort, the Dark Lord himself. I am swollen as fuck right now. It's to be expected because it's only 2 weeks post-op, and they literally like broke my nose and moved it around and all that shit. Like, I feel like I have a solid metal mass on my face. It's so hard, I feel like I could run through a brick wall right now, like with my nose. It's fucking insane. It doesn't feel like my nose, like it feels so different. It's crazy, so tender, like I don't want to touch it. I don't even want to like look at myself right now, it's crazy. So swollen. He took the splints out and took the cast off, and then he like wiped down my nose, because obviously he's been under a cast for 2 weeks, so just wiping down like the skin and that. It was a bit rough, and I started feeling like sick and like faint, and he asked me if I was feeling faint, and I was like, yep. And because he could see that I was going pale and like slightly green. So like I almost fucking passed out. What a bitch. But he said that's like a normal thing that happens, but I was not anticipating that. Overall, it's straight as fuck. Like, it is so straight. And once the swelling goes down, I think it'll look great. That's a realistic expectation for you if you're getting a nose job. You're gonna be swollen as fuck.
Let me see.
What do you think?
Wow. It's good. It's quite straight from the side. Yeah.
Very swollen though.
Mm.
Crazy, hey? Holy shit.
You're smiling better than you were.
Yeah. It's so stiff. It's so stiff. It's crazy.
I'm going to compare you to before and see what's
boy.
different. What is different?
Everything's different.
So at the moment, it's a lot fatter here.
On the tip, yeah. That'll go down though.
Yes.
That's what makes it look silly. It makes me look like Squidward
it's
or like one of the
here.
blue people from Avatar.
It's the wideness here that is
Yeah.
going to be there, see?
Yeah, it will go down. He sent me, Richard Harvey sent me initially like photoshopped images. So before, and then he photoshopped it to what it would look like after.
Yeah.
That's the after.
That's the after, yeah.
And then he sent me the side on as well. Top one is before, and the bottom one is the photoshopped expected after. And I think he's basically done exactly what he said.
Yeah.
It's just got to take a bit for the swelling to go down.
Just here is wider than it's going to be. I think.
Yeah, the whole thing's wider and thicker. Looks kind of funny though, I have a really fat nose.
I mean, it doesn't look bad, it just looks different.
Looks a bit silly.
So try and smile.
It's so tight. It's so tight. The nose is like rock hard.
Yeah, it still looks swollen through here when you try and smile. Like around your eyes and stuff.
This one makes me look like an axolotl when I try and smile. It's huge, mate. It's a congealed conglomerate of a continent on my face. Stop trying to make me smile. It looks weird. Ah! So this is the nasal splint that I've got to wear every night for the next 3 weeks. It's a hard plastic material with adhesives on the inside. So you open it up, put it straight over your nose, and it's supposed to help decrease the swelling. My nose is still pretty tender at the moment, which makes sense because the bones are still healing. So no wonder I was feeling queasy and a bit faint when the doctor was roughly cleaning my nose earlier today. I don't think the fact that I hadn't eaten anything prior to my appointment helped. But yeah, there you go. Gotta do what you gotta do. Overall, feeling better about things. I've ordered the cream, the silicone cream, to go on my columella, so that's going to help decrease the scar and redness quicker, which is great. So looking forward to getting rid of this swelling, I can tell you that. Today is the official AFTRS graduation, and I'm wearing all black, denim on denim on denim, because you can't go wrong with that. And also, I don't know how to match colours.
Oh, it's good. Oh, here's a photo. Lyndon Trescott! Let's give it up to the batch of art screen production! That's a wrap!
Everyone's taking video, so I'm taking video. It's been 10 months since my nose surgery, and this is how it's looking. The reason it's taken me so long to finish this video is because I wanted to wait for the swelling to go down so I could show the final result, but also because I've been busy working in the film industry. I was a producer's assistant on a documentary series for Network 10, then I was a director-producer trainee on a Disney movie, and now I'm training to be a stunt performer. My life has changed a lot for the better since I started making this video, so it's wild to watch the footage filmed before now. Most of my septorhinoplasty recovery occurred in the first 3 months. After then, I was back training hard, living my life as normal, and if I didn't tell you, you would never know I had a nose job. It was around this time when I also became happy with the results, because before then I wasn't sure if I had made a mistake. Especially when I had the cast removed and I saw the swollen lump on my face for the first time. My doctor told me during the initial consultation that having a nose reconstruction can have psychological repercussions in terms of how you see yourself. I foolishly didn't take much heed in these warnings and was then surprised to find myself obsessing about the way my nose looked. Your nose is such a prominent feature of your face, and the slightest change makes a big difference in your appearance. I cannot stress enough how long it takes for the swelling to go away. It takes up to a year and sometimes longer to see the final results, and it's not a linear process either. I found that the amount of swelling fluctuated each day, and of course I noticed these variations more than anyone. Some days I thought my nose was looking reasonably defined, and then others I thought the swelling would never go away. Thankfully, most of the swelling is gone now, and I'm stoked with the results and think it looks much better than before, but it definitely took longer to reach this happy ending than I anticipated. I had months of being self-conscious about my appearance, staring at my nose in the mirror and comparing before and after photos of myself. Something to look out for whilst recovering is family and friends. Despite them being aware that I had a nose reconstruction, there were a couple of times when someone would do the old flick up the nose trick or ask how my nose was while they proceeded to poke it. I honestly didn't expect this level of stupidity from my family and friends, so I was caught off guard in these instances. Thankfully, my nose was strong enough at these times, so no damage was done, but it definitely pissed me off and made me more anxious. My solution to this is to keep enough physical distance from people so they can't touch your nose. Also, don't partake in any activities that could potentially result in receiving a knock to your nose, especially in the first 6 weeks, because the bones and cartilage are still healing during this time. Another thing I realized was how much you accidentally bump your nose in everyday life. Whether you scratch your face, pull a shirt on over your head, roll over in your sleep, or any other seemingly innocuous activity, there's a high chance at some point you'll accidentally brush your nose. And of course, these small incidental bumps will most likely not damage your nose, otherwise no one would ever have a successful recovery because it's simply unavoidable, but it's definitely something to be wary of and prevent as much as possible. The surgery cost me 10,000 Australian dollars, so it isn't cheap, but if you need a surgery for functional reasons to rectify an issue that is severely impacting your quality of life in a negative way, then you can receive subsidized treatment. If you're considering getting a nose reconstruction for whatever reason, I would encourage you to do as much research as possible and see the best doctor you have access to. If you're currently recovering from a nose surgery of any kind, I wish you a swift recovery. Hang in there because it's worth it in the end. Feel free to write any questions you have in the comments and I'll do my best to reply. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one.